Where am I?
Hello, my good friend, the gamers.
The gamer community.
The gamer community, hello. Someone of a very high profile has just joined your ranks, Mr. Kanye West.
What's Kanye gaming?
I
know he was a big fan of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, he just texted Drake a picture of the Joker, so he's kind of a gamer at this point, I think.
I mean, or he's an incel.
I don't think that Kanye is an incel. I have a strong feeling that he fucks a lot, actually.
In the stadium, in his little hidey hole.
Absolutely,
he's fucking there. Okay.
He might not actually due to his religious turn, but only because of his religious turn, which is like kind of over
fucking right now.
He might be.
I disagree.
All right. I guess it's one of those things that we'll never know.
I mean, if anyone were to know, it'd be you. I don't know really anything about Kanye West because I don't care.
Yeah, he texted Drake a picture of the Joker.
That.
It was great. It was a wonderful time.
Kanye's such an idiot.
He's the smartest man to ever live.
He's got issues, and that's fine.
He absolutely has issues.
Much like myself. So in many ways, I'm also not dissimilar to Kanye West.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Kanye is the type of person where if he had a pussy, it'd probably be the best pussy, if we're being honest.
Yeah. I'm sure you've probably thought about that more than I have.
I think about it often.
Really?
No, I do not.
Good.
But if I did think about it often, that's what I would think.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome to the true crime podcast of your dreams. The only true crime podcast where
we commit the crimes.
Nice. I'm glad you finished that bit.
That was a gun sound effect. Effect, not
the soundboard's back, baby.
It's just the sound of me cocking a gun. Bruh. Oh, I could hear that. Yeah. I heard that. Wow.
Yeah. The seismograph really.
Wait, how could I hear that? How can I hear myself right now?
I don't know. I have open ear headphones. Maybe you're so loud.
I'm so loud. It's
out the other side of my headphones into my own microphone.
I should tone it down.
It's fine. It's fine.
The people love it when I get really close to the microphone and say, bruh, or something.
I think that they do.
I don't know what the people like.
I have no idea what the people like either. I feel like we've been nailing it, though. Whatever it is, we've been crushing.
Yeah. I mean, sure. Yeah.
It's the only possible explanation.
How's your week been? Besides being unemployed still.
Yep, still unemployed. Applied to a few jobs. I have heard back. I did 2 interviews over the phone. And both times they're like, we will contact you by Friday.
Well,
we will.
Spoiler alert, it's after Friday.
It's Sunday at 9:30 p.m.
Uh-oh,
let me tell you, did not contact me.
No. I like the drawing of Gary on your...
That was my wife. She did that just before recording.
Oh, wow. Well, you can pass that along from me, because I'm a good person. I compliment other people.
You complimented the drawing, but fair.
Somebody had to draw it.
That's
It
true.
didn't just show up.
That's true. She will hear that when she listens to this episode. If she still listens, honestly, I do not know.
Well, we can check to see if there are any listens in Canada. If the answer is no, then that answers that. Because we have a very strong U.S. audience.
Yeah.
And Texas specifically.
Texas is big for us. California, a little big for us.
Yeah. I've
Canada,
got people in California listening, man.
Canada, a little bit of a sour market at the moment.
You're slacking. I'm bringing up the States, baby.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I could tell strangers.
Yeah.
I could.
You should have told people at the
Candy
Candy Factory.
graffito.
You should have told people at the Candy Factory right before you left. By the way, I'm doing a podcast.
By the way, if you like true crime,
I do a podcast.
First of all, check out My Favorite Murder. But if you don't like that one,
if you don't like women, listen to something for the boys.
Yeah.
They have a guy on that podcast sometimes, like a producer guy that's just
I wouldn't know.
It's a good podcast, actually.
All right.
If you're into true crime, which I'm not.
Maybe one day I will listen. Likely not.
They're almost as good as we are at telling stories. Who's to say if they are better or worse in the almost as good comparison?
Yeah. Very similarly skilled.
Yeah. It could go either way. I'm not going to say. That's for the audience to decide. And you, if you ever listen.
I haven't listened. I probably will never listen. But I've already made up my mind.
Yeah.
And who's to say which way I've decided? We'll never know.
We won't.
What about your last week?
Let's see. I ate some jarred pesto tonight.
Starting strong.
Yeah, but it was very gross. So, fun fact. If you're going to have pesto, just fucking make it yourself. Don't get it out of a jar.
Did you... the way you describe it sounds like you just spooned it out of the jar into your throat.
Well, I put it on some pasta, but it tasted too much like the pine nuts. So it tasted like a pine tree smells, which, I don't think you want to eat that. And I guess because all the basil and shit was chopped up before they put it in the jar, because that's how cooking works. It was all brown. It was just very bad experience. I do not recommend it to anybody.
I'm sorry you had that experience.
I still feel gross. It's like my tummy is very mad. What else happened? I fixed some stuff at my dad's house. I live such an exciting life.
That is exciting.
Probably gonna get ghosted still, so it still hasn't happened yet, but it's coming
soon.
I'm having a deadly premonition. Isn't that right, Zach?
Yep.
I looked in a different direction to imply that I was. Yeah.
Very, very smart comedy.
Yeah. What can I say? I'm a real comedian.
A real visual comic.
Yeah.
I feel like being a podcaster today. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
I see it.
I was making a DreamWorks space that turned kind of into Waluigi.
Yeah. I feel like being a podcaster in this day and age is essentially the same as being like a prop comic in the 90s.
I don't know enough about comedy and history.
Imagine a prop comic.
Okay, they use props.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're doing, right? It's kind of the same thing.
I wouldn't really. I mean,
relatively speaking,
I wouldn't consider us comics exactly. No one listens here for the big goofs and gaffs. They're not here for that. They're here to learn about some crimes that they won't hear on those other true crime podcasts.
It's true. My crime, I've never heard talked about by anybody.
Really?
And it's a high-profile crime. is high profile, and I didn't know until today. I was blissfully unaware.
Wow. Do tell.
It's a little early, but I will get into it. Are you aware that Tupac Shakur is a rapist?
No, I know he's dead. So
He is dead.
Well, who's to say, really? But
I don't want to invalidate anyone's
beliefs.
Once a rapist, always a rapist, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think you get to lose that title, even in death. Allegedly.
That's very noble, yeah.
So, I say allegedly. He was convicted. He did do jail time.
Mm-hmm.
He was on probation. So,
Sorry.
1993, 19-year-old girl.
Oh.
In a hotel room.
How old was he?
He died at 25 in 1996.
So he was 23. So that's not... I say that's not that bad, but...
It's,
it could have been worse.
It definitely could have been worse.
He could have been old. Could have been like 30-something.
Could have been. Could have been 16.
Then that would have been better.
Would it?
For him.
That's your opinion, I guess. I'm not gonna say that that's better.
No, it's still bad for everyone else, but for him, he'd be like, well, I'm underage. So who's to say who raped who?
23 is not underage.
No, but if he was 16.
Oh.
That's what I thought you were saying.
Oh, you're saying if he was
16.
Older.
No, if she was older and he was younger.
Yeah.
Because then it would be statutory on him.
Yeah.
And then for him, then it would be... See, I'm not...
I get it now. Yeah, I get it.
I'm not being completely insane.
It's the whole, I fuck a kid, I'm a pedophile, a kid fucks me, I'm a pedophile again. You know what I mean?
Not at all.
I think it's a thing. Anyway, Tupac Shakur, very famous, one of the greatest.
And no matter how the fucking goes, with the kid involved, you're a pedophile.
Rape's bad, and at least this was not also statutory.
We should do something about it. I'll go on record and say that.
I think
with rape, we should make it not happen.
Yeah, I agree. So the story goes, Ayana, who has come out, she did speak on it in a video interview. So I'm not outing her or anything. Ayana Jackson, 1993, she's 19 years old.
Yeah. And
she met up with Tupac Shakur, a big name in the industry at the time, a powerhouse.
Huge.
And she consensually filleted him. Totally fine. Everything's legal. Fair game.
Yeah.
Later, she has a hotel room, and Tupac and his posse of 3 other men enter this hotel room and non-consensually run train, as they say, is the legal term.
Did they say that to the police? Charge him with
running
train. Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why are you saying that this crime was iffy for you to do?
Tupac's a beloved figure in the community.
Well, he shouldn't. Well, maybe he got what he had coming if he unconsensually ran train. Also, why would you bring in more people to
run? I mean, you can't run train by yourself.
Yeah, but would have. I don't want to get hypotheticals. I'm like, if it was just him, maybe she would have been like, yeah, okay. I'll agree to
Yeah.
just Tupac, but not Tupac and friends. I didn't
Yeah.
agree to that. And I don't know, if it were me, I wouldn't be like, you know what sounds better than consensual sex? Bringing my boys into it and rolling the dice. That does not sound. Even if it was consensual, I wouldn't want to bring the boys into it because I'm very insecure. I don't want to bang when my boys are around.
Yeah, that's fair. So, in this interview, she admits that she was, at the time, a casual fan of Tupac.
Well, if you're consensually filleting, you're a little bit more than a casual fan, sweetheart.
Um,
Sorry.
so I've read about 4 articles on this, and I have 2
Wow.
pulled up. And in the official interview, I have not read the full transcript. Apparently, she denies the rumors that she filleted him. But in the other articles, it says that she did. Who's to say?
Believe women.
Yeah, I agree.
You sounded really confident.
I mean, I agree with believe women. I just, at this point, my journalism skills are called into question, and that's why I hesitated.
Yeah, well, I don't want to insult your journalistic integrity
Of reading an article.
of reading
So-
Wikipedia.
This is actually an article. Usually it's Wikipedia. This is an actual article. And there's a lot of assault. It's not super violent, but there's like grabbing and pulling.
Well, they're running train.
Yeah. So Tupac allegedly told her, "These are my boys. I like you so much, I decided to share you with them."
Is that the quote?
That's the quote.
I did. That's what I was saying. Bring it in your boys. Okay. I didn't realize. All right. That's rough. I mean, it was, apparently.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. Yeah. So she, at the end of the ordeal, I'm not going to get too in detail with it, but he said that, and then it ends. She's crying hysterically. And she's like, "How could you do this to me? I came here to see you. I can't believe you did this to me." And then Tupac says, "I don't have time for this shit. Get this bitch out of here." Rude.
Very,
Honestly,
very disrespectful. You don't say that to a slam piece.
in the interview, so
Yeah.
this interview is from 2018. At the
Wow.
time, she's 44 years old. Isn't
I
that
don't
wild?
remember anything from last year. I don't know about remember. Well, then again, I haven't been raped, so I would probably
Yeah.
remember that a little better.
Yeah,
I redact my last statement.
believe women.
Believe women.
Still, honestly, still an attractive woman. So
Milf.
I imagine I'm not gonna.
Confirm or deny.
I'm not gonna talk about a rape victim as if she's a MILF or not.
Are you saying rape victims can't be MILFs?
I'm just saying I don't want to categorize her as someone.
That's probably fair. I'm not saying. I'm just asking what your opinion is. I'm not.
You can look her up. You can
I'm not
decide for
going-
yourself.
I'm not going to.
I do like your shirt, actually.
Yeah, it's a little Thomas Nook shirt.
Yeah, Thomas Nook.
I was afraid before we were going to have a guest.
We were.
And I was afraid that our guest would think my shirt is gay.
You probably would.
But dodged bullet. Bullet
Yep.
dodged. Yep.
Bullet dodge.
Yep.
Um,
So she's still a good-looking lady at 44
Yeah.
in 2018. So she's older than that now because that was in the past.
that was in the past.
Yeah.
So Tupac was convicted of first-degree sexual abuse. He was acquitted of sodomy and weapons charges. I didn't see anything about the weapon, but allegedly there was a weapon.
Well, you can't just. I feel like it's disrespectful to run train with a weapon involved, consensually or not.
I agree. During his trial, Tupac said, "I put my faith in God. Once again, I have no shame. What happens, happens for a reason. I leave this in the hands of God." And then he went to
What
jail.
a retard!
And then he went to jail.
Me and my boys raped a woman, and that's on God.
Baby girl. Yeah, so he said, "I leave this in the hands of God," and the judge was like, "All right, go to jail then."
Yeah, good. Okay, honestly, glad Tupac got. I'm
Yeah.
saying it. That'll earn me some enemies. I don't care.
Yeah, so to back it up a little bit, to talk about Tupac, because I think this is interesting. This is not related to the incident in question, but I did want to do some background on Tupac, the incident. So, some background on Mr. Shakur. He spent most of his childhood on the run from the FBI. His stepfather, Mutulu, was on the top 10 most wanted list for domestic terrorism by the FBI.
Is it like the spoof of the R. Kelly song where he's like, "I got shot by the FBI"? You know? Yeah.
Sure.
All he wanted was a chicken wing. I believe that's the next line.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
His biological mother, Afeni, spent time in prison based on a plot to blow up New York City police departments.
Wait, what?
She was plotting to explode a...
So be a terrorist.
Yeah.
Oh,
sick. And she was married to a top 10 most wanted domestic terrorist.
Okay.
So if that's your adult figures while you're growing up, that's your role models.
Yeah, that's rough. Now, if your mom's a terrorist, you're probably going to run train unconsensually. That's just a natural pipeline of things.
Yeah. At 16, he became youngest national chairman of the New African Panthers.
That's cool.
So then the FBI was like, "No, we don't like this man."
Wakanda forever.
Yeah, Tupac Conda forever.
Yeah. Continue,
so
please. Or is that it?
I mean, there's a lot of other stuff. 2 police officers beat up a black motorist who I believe this is in reference to that guy's name. I can't remember his name. You know his name?
No. I'm not good with names or remembering things. But at least I remember when to record.
Yeah.
I was looking at a camera that didn't exist.
I saw that.
Yeah. Just let the record show.
So cops are beating up a black driver, a motorist, not necessarily driving in a limo or something, but just
a person in a car.
A person in a car.
Yeah.
And Tupac went to help. He approached them, and the cops shot at Tupac. So
he got shot by the FBI.
I mean, they're just police officers. So Tupac does not like this.
Yeah, well,
he's not a fan of getting shot at. So he gets his own gun and actually shoots and hits both of the police officers.
Nice. Double kill.
I mean, they're not dead. He did shoot them in the leg and the booty. And so if you shoot 2 cops, probably
frowned upon a little.
Probably you're going to get in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah. I would hope.
But
here's
ACAB moment coming right up. Both police officers, first of all, drunk. On the job, drunk. Presumably driving. And illegal. Second...
That was the 90s, so...
Second, after being drunk, they stole the gun from the evidence locker that they used to shoot at Tupac.
Wow.
Pretty fucked up.
ACAB.
ACAB, baby.
You know what? Tupac didn't deserve to die.
Just going back and forth.
Yeah.
Every fact, wait a minute, he deserved it. No.
Yeah, just my opinion just is changing. Yeah, because I don't have one at all.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Him saying it was God's will that he ran train
Well, he's like,
definitely deserved it.
what happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Okay. To go more into his defense, though, his defense wasn't that the gang rape never happened. He was just like, look, probably unconsensual train running did happen. I was not in the room, though. But, like, probably it happened. My boys? Oh, yeah.
Can't speak for my boys, but me, the person who let them there and the only connection everybody has between each other, I wasn't there.
Yeah.
Fucking idiot.
It's hard to imagine why the woman would be like, I got fucking destroyed. And
Buddy.
I wanted to say a word that wasn't ran train, because I feel like we've overused it at this point. Couldn't think of a better one. So she's like, I was sexually assaulted, real fucked up. And who was there? 3 guys I've never met before and Tupac Shakur. I don't know if adding Tupac to the story as a lie would make any sense.
Yeah.
So I'm going to believe women on this one.
I believe women on all the times, actually.
That's true.
I even believe that sometimes they can be bad, which is very brave of me. It shows how much I believe women. Is that I also believe that sometimes they're evil. Not all of them, just certain ones.
Sure.
Yeah.
And he went to jail for 9 months. And Suge Knight paid his $1.5 million bond. Suge Knight, also a murderer.
I miss when rappers did bad shit all the time. So just
Lil Wayne, Fat
people
Joe
with AIDS.
Yeah, that's also a crime. Lil Wayne, pretty sure he had gun charges probably. Fat Joe did tax evasion. A lot of rappers do bad things.
The Situation did tax evasion.
Wesley Snipes did tax evasion.
It's a common one.
I've done tax evasion.
I haven't.
Off the record, I've done tax evasion. On the record, I've heard of tax evasion.
I've never done anything wrong in my life, on the record.
I don't think tax evasion is wrong.
Well, I mean, sure.
I don't believe that I should be...
Neither do billionaires.
I don't believe that I should be paying to support this police state. This absolute fascist police state that we live in.
That is racist to the native people.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true.
You gotta get your boy Justin.
I'm getting the frick out of here.
I'm moving to
him.
The beautiful United States of America.
I will not be moving there.
Well, okay,
Joseph
so you're
Biden.
going to Iceland.
I'm going to Iceland. Joseph Biden, how about you stick it?
How about Joseph Biden?
I wouldn't say that.
I wouldn't say that was a joke. That was a joke.
This is a satirical podcast. Joseph Biden,
I hope he lives forever.
Live forever, but also kick rocks. Hey, man, just kick rocks.
He is old.
Why don't you scram?
Why didn't he take a hike?
Take a long hike.
And
where a long walk. Take a long walk off a short pier, as they say.
Well, now that's getting a little too specific. I love
I
the
think he
president
can swim.
and America. Unironically, best country in the world, baby.
All right. I will disagree.
Look at how bad things fell apart in Afghanistan when we weren't there. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Anyway, that's Tupac Shakur.
Yeah,
Bit of a bad boy.
he very naughty.
I don't think it's good to do what he did.
Rape is bad. I'm not afraid to say that on the record.
I'm not going to listen to his music anymore.
I don't think I've ever listened to a Tupac song.
It's
period.
really good.
It's never happened for me. I don't know. He's not a Korean girl group, so I'm not interested.
I mean, he's no Christopher Wallace, but he's pretty good.
I mean, he's no Momo. I bet Momo's moves are just so fucking tighter than anything that Tupac can do.
Tupac is more about...
the lyrics and the voice, probably.
Yeah, he talks a lot about how cops are bad.
Mm.
True.
Yeah, I don't think the lyrics of Twice are really anything other. They're not really meaningful based on the translations I've read.
What are they talking about?
Just about how like good you, the listener, are in just various different ways. About you're good, and I'm like, I am good, and all of you are in love with me, and that's great.
Finally, someone recognizes it.
Truly. Although, hey, sometimes when I'm playing Pokemon Unite, somebody sends me a good job, or I'll get a friend request, and I'll be like, I did good out there. I didn't get MVP, but I did good out there.
I'm proud of you.
Hey, I'm almost at Master League, which means
good.
I can't rank down anymore once I hit Masters. I can
Pretty
stop
good.
playing.
I think what Tupac did is equally as bad as what Chris Brown did.
Christopher Brown, yeah, he's no
Christopher Brown, no good.
Although he did kind of go hard on DJ Khaled's "Hold You Down." That's a good song.
I don't respect anything by DJ Khaled. I think DJ Khaled is the
He's probably also a rapist.
probably also a rapist, but committing one of the worst crimes that I've heard of, refusing to eat pussy.
Oh. No, "Hold You Down's a good song. Listeners, check out DJ Khaled's "Hold You Down." It's very good.
Do not support Christopher Brown.
Listen to it illegally or something.
All right, fine.
But it's good. It's a good beat. It'll come on the radio sometimes. I'll be like, oh yeah. I did a little dance.
You did do a little dance.
It was good.
It was good.
I got moves.
No one will ever know.
Plus, that was the clip.
I'm not recording this one.
Oh, well.
It's fine. Everything's fine. So that's Tupac.
What
son
about 3Pac?
of 3Pac was my rap name in high school, actually.
Really?
Like I wasn't a rapper, but I joked.
If you were to be a rapper, it would have been 3Pac.
I did joke about
idiot.
Like, I joked about it being a funny name. 3Pac.
Okay, sister.
Thank you. And that's my crime. Son of terrorists shoots 2 cops, rapes a woman on a train.
Kind of gets off, other than getting murdered later, gets off clean.
He did get murdered very young.
But he had it coming based on all that other shit.
Yeah.
And for blaming the good Lord for a woman getting ran train on. I don't know the grammatical technicalities there. Do you want to hear my crime?
I would love to hear your crime.
Well,
I'd also love to hear Tupac's thoughts on 9/11, just as an aside. Anyway.
I bet he would have loved it.
He probably would.
Yeah. So I got story of old Catherine Knight.
Okay.
Knight spelled with the KN. like a soldier, not like the
I
time of day.
believed that in my heart before you told me.
Well,
All right, what did Caddy K do?
well, she had a bit of a not the best life. So she was
Okay.
born and raised in what Wikipedia calls an unconventional and dysfunctional family environment, which basically consisted
Me.
of her mother Barbara. Um,
Can't be
telling
naming your mom Barbara.
if your mom's named Barb,
You're
it's not going to
done.
get any better than that.
I feel like Barbara should be the new Karen. Barbara's so much worse.
Well, it's never going to be because of fucking Barb from Stranger Things. Because people are like, oh, I projected onto Barb and I like her because I'm also a loser.
Yeah.
And if that's one of you listening, go fuck yourself. Barb sucked.
I think you're good.
I'm glad she died in season 1. I was thrilled.
I'm also glad Barb is dead, but if you related to Barb, I like you. Thank you for listening.
Now,
You're a treasured fan.
Billy was a good Stranger Things character.
Fuck Billy.
He did nothing wrong. Folks, who's to say? Anyways,
Fuck Billy.
so Catherine's mom, Barb, eventually had a little cheating time with some guy named Ken Knight. So that's I guess
Her
they
brother?
get married. No, she gets remarried. She was married to some guy named Jack Rohan. I don't know, Rohan. Let's go with Rohan. That sounds cool.
Rohan.
Yeah. So basically, Barb, Ken, and then what's her name? Catherine dip out. And then the ex-husband bites the dust, and this is like they dip out in like 1955 and 1954. Ex-husband dies, who's not a good guy. So
He deserved it.
he deserved it, much like Tupac, and a little bit worse than Tupac. So Jack was a bit of an alcoholic who openly used violence and intimidation to rape Barb up to 10 times a day.
That's too many.
Which is way too much.
That's like 10 too many per day.
It's up to, so they didn't always hit 10, but even it was like, that's just a lot of times to fuck, consensual or not.
Yeah, I agree.
10 times, I'm like, no.
That's too many. I'm just trying to wrap my mind around it.
Barb did not have a good relationship with men. She would, partake in sex that she didn't want to do, but just went along with it so that things were smooth.
It sounds like that she had a troubled past wherein she viewed sexual gratification as her only value in the world.
Well, that was... having your mom get raped 10 times a day probably doesn't impart a good impression of men to you as a child.
Correct.
Which was the main kind of bit here. So eventually, our good friend Catherine was a bit of a loner in high school, became a bully, which is great, obviously, because her home life was terrible. But when she was not enraged, she was good at school. And then she started being, I think, a butcher, working at a slaughterhouse.
Okay.
Yeah. So, which, no red flags.
Is this foreshadowing?
I would never foreshadow anything in these stories. Or ever. Famously not a fan of foreshadowing in any way. She was really, really good at it. She got promoted very quickly. Again, just fun facts, just sprinkling in. Eventually, she meets a hard drinking coworker, David. And they let's see. Also, a troubled guy. His best friend died in a shunting accident. What's a shunting accident? What's shunting? Oh, something with trains. And they also watched 6 train hit a
A
school
lot
bus,
of
killing 6 kids. This is all happening in Australia, so just a wild place.
I'm trying to learn what shunting is. A lot of crossover in these crimes.
Yeah. Well,
Like
it's because we planned these. These are all
trains,
written.
rape.
It's got everything. Eventually, old David loses his job, and then they start dating. But also sometimes David fucks Catherine's twin, who apparently exists.
Okay.
So that's weird, but okay, that's fine. They get married. Very cute, very sweet. On their wedding night, Catherine tries to strangle David, and then later said that it was because he fell asleep after only having sex 3 times.
Only 3.
Only
And
3.
she's like,
Believe
you know
women.
what? She's like, you know what? You're selfish. You're a selfish lover.
So, if you couldn't guess, their marriage proved particularly violent. And a heavily pregnant knight once burned all of Kenneth's clothing and shoes before hitting him across the back of the head with a frying pan, simply because he had arrived home late from a darts competition after reaching finals. Eventually, David's like, I'm fucking leaving.
Yeah, that's. I was going to say smart. He's very stupid for not leaving earlier.
Yeah, well, it keeps going. So, it doesn't get better.
I had a feeling it did not get
Yeah.
better.
So,
This is not a story that, like, it ends like she went to therapy and she learned to not.
well, it's on a true crime podcast. But
Yeah.
who's to say? Maybe, I mean, who's to say who kills who?
Who's to say? Let's find out.
Let's find out. 76, Catherine has a kid. And then
Is it? Is he the father or is it unknown?
no, I think I believe he's the father.
Does he believe that he's the father, or does she believe that he's the father?
It doesn't say, so I'm assuming it didn't matter that much. Then David pieces out. Okay, do you know what a pram is?
Like a streetcar,
Yeah, it's a little baby stroller thing, but like an old tiny
baby
one.
stroller.
So she was walking with her. She was pushing her baby in her pram, and then she was violently throwing the pram from side to side. And she only got hit with a postnatal depression diagnosis for that.
Totally fine.
And then after that, she then took her 2-month-old and put her on a railway line. A lot of trains in this one. But didn't kill the baby, but then threatened to kill a bunch of other people with an axe later. She went into town and was just like, I'm going to kill people with this axe.
She tied the baby to the tracks like a vaudeville villain.
Yes. And then I guess opted to just not
rules.
to do that. I don't know.
If she went through with it, it wouldn't rule, but because she didn't, kind of rules.
Well, okay, so she did do it, but then a man by the name of Old Ted, which I
Hell
love.
yeah, dude.
Oh, how great is Old Ted?
How racist is Old Ted?
Probably, I mean, in Australia, probably very racist. He found Melissa and rescued her, so that's good. Old Ted,
Yeah.
bad
Thank
boy
you.
crimes hero of the week. Hopefully,
Thank you, Old Ted.
How great is Old Ted? So then Knight gets arrested. Sorry, Catherine gets arrested. Taken to St. Elmo's Hospital.
Hell yeah, dude.
Because this couldn't get any fucking stupider. Then a few days later, after getting sent to the hospital, but she signs out and she slashes the face of a woman with one of her knives. And then she goes on a hunt to find David. The woman escapes from her, and then Catherine's like, well, I need somebody to take me to find David. So she captures a young boy, takes him hostage, and threatens him with a knife. Police go after her, but then she disarms the police. She gets disarmed by the police. Sorry. And the police attack her with brooms. I don't know what these people are fucking doing. This is all Looney Tunes bullshit. And then Catherine said to the nurses, because she gets admitted to a different psychiatric hospital this time, not St. Elmo's, just a normal named one.
Sorry, Elmo.
Yeah, and then she told the nurses she intended to kill the mechanic at the service station because he had repaired David's car, which allowed him to leave in the first place. And then she wanted to kill both David and then his mom when she found him, but I guess she didn't get the opportunity to do that. She was arrested. She was released in 1976, and then went into the care of her mother-in-law. So she gets sent back to her husband and the mother-in-law, both of whom she said she was going to kill. She's released into their custody. So that's great.
Sounds like they're in her custody.
Yeah, and then
a Rorschach. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
Yeah, and then they have a couple more kids, but it keeps going. So she meets a different David Saunders, in 1986, and she was very jealous of this other David. I'm guessing she broke up with David 1, so David 2. They're moved in together, but he still keeps his old apartment. She does not like David having his own apartment in addition to
real David and Goliath situation.
Well, so basically she stalks him to and fro his other apartment. In 1987, she cut the throat of a 2-month-old dingo pup in front of him. For no more reason than as an example of what would happen if he ever had an affair. So just killing a dog,
just in case,
just to send the message. Believe women.
It's like putting you in hell when you're like 8. And it's like, look, if you're bad,
if you run train non-consensually on a woman, you will get murdered.
Yeah.
So just know that, Tupac. And he was like,
a little weird.
My mom's a terrorist. So she has another kid.
She's just popping them out.
Yeah, they get a new house, a bunch of other shit. Oh my god! So she hits this second David with an iron before stabbing him with a pair of scissors after an argument. Then he, I believe, pieces out. So then she gets with a John.
Uh-oh.
And then they get pregnant. Very uneventful. Until she has an affair with John too, because she apparently likes to date dudes with the same names.
It makes it easier. Like, yeah, I'm gonna go see John.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go see David.
Or if you're moaning a name in bed.
Yeah.
That way you're just it's easy that way you don't get in trouble.
You don't get mixed up.
Yeah.
You're never saying the wrong name.
Banging somebody with the same name as you, very weird, as an aside. It's very uncomfortable.
I wouldn't do it.
Somebody with a gender neutral name.
I wouldn't do it.
I would hope not. Because you're married.
Yeah, and my wife's name is not Squid, so.
Or Skillshy.
It's true.
Squid Shy, folks.
Squid Shy.
So old John Price, John 2. And this is where things get even spicier. If this wasn't a
Things
fucking
are
train
about
wreck,
to go awry.
yeah. If they, well, I mean, they've been going awry. This woman is fucking crazy.
I think she might need
She should have stayed at St. Elmo's.
perhaps a little bit more education.
Yeah. Probably could have had a better set of parents, one that where the dad didn't rape the mom 10 times a day. That
Yeah.
might have had something to do with it. Clearly, there's something bad with their genetics in general because they're some
Yeah.
fucked up shit.
It's- she was conceived through hate, it sounds like, and I think that's bad for a child's psyche.
Yep. And yep. So John, according to those who know him, was a terrific bloke, just a great guy. You know, all of Catherine's many children were big fan of him. And what, in 1995, they moved in together. You know, and sounds like things are going pretty good.
She's fine now.
Yeah, in '98 though, which hey, for her, 3 years of uneventful activity, pretty good.
Worth celebrating.
I'm popping the biggest bottles, but unfortunately, in '98, John too and Catherine had a little fight because he didn't want to marry her, which fair
Honestly,
at this point.
yeah, I was gonna say a little bit fair.
Yeah. So in retaliation to him not wanting to marry her, which again we've established is reasonable, she was like, "I'm gonna videotape some shit that you allegedly stole from work and send the tape to your boss."
You
Although
should not be snitching on your boyfriend or husband.
No, snitches get stitches. At least that's what you hope for.
I hope that they receive proper justice through the legal channels.
Well, and here's the stuff he took were some like out of date medical kits that he had just taken from the trash. So like, he didn't really steal anything.
No harm, no foul.
Yeah, exactly. But he got fired because of lovely Catherine, and then he was like, "Hey, I'm kicking you out because you're a crazy person." But then a few months later, the relationship kicks back off.
Yeah, as it does.
As it does. Unfortunately, not as much peace. A lot of fighting. And his friends were like, "Buddy, we're not going to be friends with you if you're still with this chick because she's crazy."
You gotta stop. Did you watch that, just as an aside, the Netflix documentary of a true crime of the guy who just kept kidnapping this couple's daughter?
No.
he kidnapped their daughter.
It's such a funny thing.
And then, like, they get her back after a couple months, and he kidnaps her again, and then it's, like, the same guy, and they get her back, and then he starts, like, fucking the mom, and it's like, that dude kidnapped your daughter, you should not be fucking him. And then after that, he starts fucking the dad, and then the cops are like, you have to stop hanging out with this guy. He just like steals their daughter again. And like, God damn it, like, this guy is no good, but he's very charming apparently.
This guy fucks.
He's fucking all of them. And like, they couldn't do anything, legally speaking, because they kind of just let it happen.
Yeah.
It's not good. Not good.
Bad parents.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of bad parents, so finally we're getting to the crime. All of that other shit.
That's all
That was just prelude. Those other crime. This is like a buy one get like 20 free situation.
Okay.
So in February of 2000, new millennium, baby.
How old is she at this point?
In her like 40s.
Really?
Yeah.
She
was born in like the 50s.
Oh yeah.
She's like 46 or something.
I'm remembering now.
40, 45, I don't know. But a series of assaults on John culminated with Catherine stabbing him in the chest. And so he's finally fed up, and now he's like, we're done.
Yeah.
And then later that month, on Leap Day of February, he gets a bad juju.
Bad omen.
Bad omen. He gets a restraining order on her in an attempt to, like, you know, keep her away because she is fucking insane.
It's a little bit rude.
Very rude. And then later he was telling his coworkers, he's like, hey, if I don't come to work tomorrow, it's because Catherine murdered me. And then the coworkers were like, buddy, she's not coming.
Of course that's not happening.
That's not happening.
Nobody ever believes men. Can we talk about this?
We should talk about this. Believe men sometimes.
Not all the time. Look, men.
Look,
kill all men, first of all. Honestly.
Except this one guy.
You gotta believe him.
Believe John Price.
Believe John, too. John 1. Honestly,
John 1, that guy could go fuck himself. John 2. And old Ted. Heroes. Old Ted. If only old Ted was here, he would have stopped what may or may not happen.
He honestly could have stopped 9/11.
He probably died by then. He was already old in like the 80s.
Yeah. If he was around, he probably would have stopped 9/11.
much like Mark Wahlberg. Anyway, so the coworkers are like, what was his name? John? Yeah, John, you're fine. He's like, no, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm having a deadly premonition. Isn't that right, Zach? And they're like, who's Zach? And he's like, let me tell you about Stephen S. That was a joke for nobody other than the two of us.
And it's good.
And it was great. So he's like, well, I don't want my children around for me thinking I'm going to get murdered because of this deadly premonition I'm having. So I'm going to send them over to a sleepover. And then he was like, I'm going to go to my neighbor's house and then hang out there and then come back to my place at like 11. So like she's not going to come in that late. She would have murdered me earlier. I'm assuming his, thought process.
Yeah, you got to get it done early so you go in, you can relax at night.
Yeah.
Knowing that you've done your duty.
Oh, wait, hold on. So I misspoke.
Journalism called into
folks,
question.
He didn't send the kids away to a sleepover. She did. He's like, so he comes home and the kids aren't there because they're at the neighbors. He's like, uh-oh, sisters. When he shows up at, cool. But she was not home. Earlier that day, though, she had bought new black lingerie, and she's like 46, so like, and videotaped all of her children while making comments that Wikipedia describes as a crude will. And then later that night, she shows up at his house while he was sleeping. I guess she comes over, watches TV.
Sleep.
Then she has a shower. Then she wakes him up. They fuck.
Shouldn't be doing that.
Then he goes to sleep. With citation needed is after him falling asleep. So at 6 a.m. same night, but 6 a.m.
Yeah.
The neighbor notices that John 2's car was there, and he's like, he ain't at work yet.
It shouldn't be there at this hour.
Yeah. And so the neighbor, inform, and then the employer's like, where is he? So the employees or the job sends a worker. The worker and the neighbor are like scoping out his house, and they're like, where's John 2? Our good friend John 2, who had a deadly premonition last night. Maybe we should have listened.
Believe all men.
And then they notice some blood on the front door, and they're like, uh-oh, sisters, let's call the police.
How are you gonna get blood on the front door?
Rookie move.
I think she wanted to. I think she cared for him. She was like, "I'll put blood. They'll know." And then, like, he's not gonna get medical attention, but he won't be left there for like cats to eat his face.
Well, anyway, so the police bust down the door and the back door because they didn't want to upset the evidence on the front door.
Smart.
And they find John 2's dead body. Uh-oh. And then Catherine is comatose from a large number of sleeping pills. Apparently, she had stabbed our good friend John, close personal friend John 2, while he was asleep. Presumably, she fucked him one last time, and then, which is frankly how I want to go, but not with the other stuff that, well, you'll see. Apparently, he woke up in the middle of it, like tried to turn on the light before escaping, but Catherine chased him around the house. He managed to open the front door and get outside, but she dragged him back inside, and he bled out.
So that's how it got there.
Yeah, and then she later the same night went to an ATM using his account, like took out $1,000 for some fucking reason, and she stabbed him at least 37 times.
That's too many.
And then several hours after he died, Catherine skinned him and hung the skin from a meat hook from like the top part of the door in their lounge room. And
I don't remember. If I've said anything positive about this woman, I take it back. I forget if I did.
Look, sometimes women can be bad. Okay, sometimes white women, and obviously this one's white. Obviously. Sometimes they're bad. Evidence, okay? But so after she hung the skin, she decapitated, I guess, the skinless head off the body, and then cooked parts of the body with some baked potato, pumpkin, beetroot, zucchini, cabbage, yellow squash, with a lovely gravy. You know, get some of that human meat fond, turn into a nice gravy. Sounds delicious. With all those vegetables, that's healthy. There's no carbs.
Yeah,
I guess.
Gluten free.
Yeah, and so she sets the table, and then puts notes for 2 plates, one with each of John 2's kids. And then there was a third meal, but she threw that one on the back lawn. I guess she fucked it up and it wasn't fit.
Yeah.
She
Sometimes
he burned the fond on the third one or
it's
something.
like Willy Wonka. Sometimes with the dessert, it goes bad.
Yeah. So she was ready to serve up Dad to the kids. I don't know why. And then they find the head in a pot with vegetables, making a little stock.
All right.
I would
Mother
assume.
sauce.
Yeah, maybe use the stock to make the gravy. That's what I would do.
This is your second woman cooks a man story.
No, the other one was women cooking other women, serving it to a son.
Right.
And yeah, that was it. She was found guilty, life in prison. So that's good. But yeah, fucked up bitch, right?
Real
piece of work.
Real naughty by nature.
But yeah, spoiler alert, all that stuff was foreshadowing, all carefully woven to get to that conclusion. What a crime.
I didn't expect that conclusion.
Because it's wild, because it's like everything's so bad, and you're like, there's no way it's going to keep topping it. And
it's gonna end with murder, sure. But
not with an elegantly crafted meal. And also skinning the guy, too. I mean, well, she should have kept the skin on. That would have added collagen to the sauce. Yeah. You know, that would have made the gravy a little bit more luscious.
I'm gonna look
Probably.
her up. How's she doing these days? She's 65.
Yeah, she doesn't look great. She's not
I'll go on record, not a MILF.
not a MILF. You don't even, folks, we don't even have to say in 2006, she did appeal the life sentence, claiming that the penalty of life in prison without the possibility of parole was too severe.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
First Australian woman to be sentenced to life imprisonment without parole. First ever. Honestly.
Justified. I would
Honestly
say.
justified. She's got a lot of kids. 4 kids.
Yeah, she was popping them out left and right. It was also hard to keep track because a lot of the dudes had kids from other relationships. There was a lot. She was touching a lot of lives.
What? She an author? Or these are books about her?
And I mean, I basically read a whole ass book for 30 minutes.
You did.
It's a long Wikipedia article.
There's a lot of books about her. Maneater, Bloodstain, The True Story of Catherine Knight. Yeah, I would say Bad Boy. I would vote Bad Boy on that one.
Yeah, so sometimes women can be bad. That's my goal of this podcast, is proving that not all the time, but sometimes women can do bad things, and they aren't victims.
Not all the time. I guess the reason they think it's too severe is because legally her only charge is like murder, right? And like desiccating a corpse.
But she tried to feed it to the kids.
Tried.
I feel like the intent there, attempted forced cannibalization, I feel like that's pretty fucked up. Also, this lady's got a track record of being fucking nuts. So
yeah,
I would say that,
like,
you know,
she's not being charged for any of that stuff.
Yeah, but if I was a jury, I would be like, yeah, we're not giving this lady parole. She clearly has. Things have just gotten worse and worse. If we let her out of prison, she's just going to kill and eat 2 people.
Yeah.
Or do 9/11. And Big Ted's not around to stop it.
Old Ted.
Old Ted, yeah, not Big Ted. He probably was big too, though.
I imagine he was.
He was a very, like, not fat, but just like a large, imposing, older man.
Yeah, I agree. I can see why people would say it based on the one criminal charge of murder. Because, especially as the first Australian woman to life imprisonment without parole.
Someone's got to be the first. Might as well be his crazy bitch.
I agree. I think that she's bad. Honestly, worse than Tupac.
Yeah, I would say she should have gotten killed instead of Tupac, and he should have gotten more prison time than what he got.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
Yeah, this lady was a real piece of work. And I don't think really anything super bad happened to her. She seemed to be the aggressor, other than like having a bad home life as a kid. But like it based on reading the article, it's not like, you know, the dad did anything to her. It's just like she existed in a fucked up environment and then just became evil.
Yeah.
Because she seemed to be the aggressor in like most of the relationship she was in. BPD probably.
I would say
in my expert opinion, probably has it. The whole stalking thing, the being jealous, classic BPD behavior.
If you Google Catherine Knight, people also ask, what was Catherine Knight diagnosed with? BPD, right there.
I didn't know. I was just guessing. I was just using my psychiatric mind and giving a woman an accurate diagnosis.
She had been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, and 2 of the 3 consultant psychiatrists at the first trial believed her chances for cure were nil.
Yeah, that's the case with all fucking personality disorders. You know what? People with BPD should be put down like dogs, folks. Example A. That's a bit.
I disagree.
You disagree that it was a bit, or you disagree?
I disagree that it was a bit. I think that you truly believe that, and you're covering up by calling it a bit.
No, I don't think they should be put down, but I think most people with borderline personality disorder are beyond redemption. And if somebody were like, "Oh, I have BPD," I'd be like, "Oh, cool! Like you're out of my life forever."
You're a human being, but you are not in my purview.
Look, normally I say things exist and that's fine, and I'm not going to do anything about it. With BPD, it exists in people. It's
That's
not
fine.
fine.
It's
It's not.
fine.
It's not fine. But I'm not going to do anything about it either. It's probably the one thing in that mantra where I'm like, it's not okay that you have it, but I'm not going to do anything other than just leave.
That's. I guess that's fine.
Don't date BPD women for 4 years, folks. It fucks you up.
It might be fine. I'm not gonna generalize women.
I will generalize BPD women. They're all villains. I'll go that far. And if you're a BPD woman listening to this podcast, sorry.
I think
don't have
you're
to-
good, and I'm glad you're listening.
You know what? I don't care if I alienate that listenership. I don't care.
All right.
And it's my own personal bias, but also this lady, she's not doing y'all any favors, okay?
She seems bad, that's for sure.
Yeah.
We have
Classic
to end this
BPD.
episode because I
Typical.
still have to put it out.
Yeah. My tummy hurts.
All right. Any closing thoughts in general?
We had some real vile criminals, and they got what they had coming.
We started on crime at like 10 minutes in, and we
This
went
was
10
an
minutes
all
over.
crime episode. Yeah,
This
man.
is all crime, baby. Unintentional. This will not happen again.
Yeah. This people are going to listen to this and be like, I love this True Crime podcast. Let's listen to their older episodes and see an hour's worth of true crime podcasting content. And they're going to be like, oh.
It's you just fumbling for a minute and a half.
Trying
What's
to
this
read.
person's name?
That was a good bit.
Yeah, this person, they were in a car accident. What the fuck was it?
That was a good bit.
It was a good bit. All right. Goodbye, everybody. I love you. Good night.